Hey everyone, it's Katie from Moonflower Moments. So I'm super excited to share with y'all today just a bit of an update on my tarot practice. So I essentially have been incredibly busy with school. October is always such a busy month for school, but I'm starting to see a little bit of a light at like the end of the tunnel. Some things are really starting to come together the way that I hope that they would. So even though I haven't had a lot of time to do some of like the deep things that I was working on over the summer, I am still doing a lot of deep practices that seem to really spiritually fulfill me. And so I wanted to share those practices here. I've also like picked up reading again, so I started matching some decks with some books. So I have a couple of pairs as well with that. So it's a nice like casual, cozy video. Hopefully you have some tea. It's like 45 degrees here for the first time. Period. Like I think like this is the first time that it's been under like 62 in South Louisiana where I live this this fall season. So I have some tea with me and we're just gonna jump on in and I'm gonna share the things that I've been working with. So with that being said, one of the things that I have been using constantly and consistently, and I almost like have to shuffle this every time it gets into my hand because I love the cardstock so much, is going to be the spread deck. And I have the Shadow Work edition. I'll leave a link in the description box below for you. And I had the most amazing opportunity to use this deck with both my husband and then also my dearest friend. And we've done like a lot of deep shadow work with it. So the reason that I find this deck to be so incredible is that it's so accessible for people that are new to tarot or people that like maybe they have a concept that they want a reading but they don't know what they want a reading on. And so what my husband and then like my friend have two very different reading styles, but they both knew that they wanted something that was like a shadowy kind of reading to kind of illuminate areas that they needed to look at. And so for my best friend, I got her to pick out about like 8 to 10 cards. And then I chose kind of the spread of how those cards would be kind of laid out. And so this was kind of like, I mean, it was used as a spread deck and she got to choose a lot of these terms that resonated with her. And this deck is like very thick, like it is a very fat deck, which I very much love. And so you have a lot of opportunity to, like there are things that maybe are perhaps similar in the deck. Oh, look, I always mix in the title card. Do y'all do that too? I always forget. There are like cards that are kind of similarly named, like something holding you back, but then there's also a card that's titled like obstacles. But I actually really like that because on the surface it might seem like those two things are similar, something holding you back and obstacles. They're actually pretty different, right? Like something holding you back could be like something like physically holding you back, whereas obstacles is just like a bump in the road. So I think that this is just so well designed in the way that Holly took the time to try to get all of the nuances in the reading through these keywords. So my friend dearly enjoyed it. I'm going to show you the deck that I used with her for that. And then I'll talk about how I used it with my husband too, because he's very unconventional and he definitely used this deck in a different way. So I have been using the inner child cards with the spread deck. And look, I know aesthetically they're probably not a match. The idea is that this is supposed to go under this card and these cards are absolutely gigantic. So like aesthetically, maybe not. But let me tell you about a match that will kick your ass. It is this 100%. So if you're not familiar, the Inner Child Tarot matches like fairy tales with the tarot cards, and the guidebook is so loving and absolutely supportive, and I think it does a really great job of explaining how the fairy tales match the concepts that are being pictured. And so I deeply appreciate it. Like look at this emotional space, and then you have the 5 of Hearts, you know, and it seems almost as if she's like locking her heart up into this chest. There's a language in which both these decks communicate, which is very in tune with emotional intelligence that I greatly appreciate. So what I've been doing, well, let me go back to my friend. My friend, she picked these cards, and then I pulled cards for her with the Inner Child Tarot, and it was just a nice little journey. We sat in her garden and just hung out all day, kind of pulling tarot cards with these two decks. See, I told you I always leave these mixed in. But anyway, I have been using the inner child cards quite a bit as well, just to kind of work through some of my own things and my own framework and thinking about my childhood. And so, you know, I've essentially had an altar card from the Inner Child Tarot on my altar pretty much every day for the past like 3 weeks. So I'm very pleased with these two as a match. So let me grab the one that I used with the spread deck with my husband, BRB. Oh, I guess it's not gonna be BRB for you. Whatever, I'm not editing that out. Okay, so my husband is like really kind of into the woo in the way that he fully, wholeheartedly kind of trust what the universe has to offer him. So when I got the spread deck in, we decided that we were going to have like a little bit of a date night, and he was the one that kind of initiated this, to where essentially what he would do is he would just shuffle these cards together and he put the cards face down. So this would be his spread. Oh, I hope this isn't too personal of a spread, because you never know what you're gonna get with when you pull for yourself on YouTube. And then he would pull some tarot cards, specifically Spirit Keeper's Tarot, because we both own this deck. And so we pull from this deck together. And he would flip over the tarot cards first. I'll show some more cards from this deck in a little bit. Actually, this is a beautiful reading. Like the Fool, Judgment, and Holy Grail. Absolutely, I will share that on YouTube. But then he would look and see, ooh, what I must face. The Fool. Let's see. Tough Emotions, Judgment. I'm still okay with this though. This isn't too private. And Tough Love is Ace of Cups. Oh, that's so interesting. So, oh, we have Tough and we have Tough. Oh, that's really interesting. Okay. So the reason that I would pull the tarot card before he pulled over the shadow card is because he wanted to see the layout of how that happens, right? Because sometimes if we were to pull what I must face, we already have an idea of what we're facing right now in our life. And so you're essentially manifesting that energy onto the tarot card. But if you don't know what this card says, you get a more authentic answer. At least that's how he's using it. And then you could technically kind of like move this around. So you could do like Tough Emotions, Tough Love, what I must face, because this seems like a forward-thinking question. So you could reorder it for the future. And like, I'm totally fine with that. So we had like a nice little date night playing around with this. And I don't know. I think it's quite cute. I'll show you how they look together though. Let's see if we got it. And y'all, look at how many cards I've already pulled. And I still have like this much left. Like, this is a fat deck. So anyway, I'll just show a few cards of each. And I like how these look together a lot because these actually fit each other. So like I said, I think if you have a deck that is like the standard tarot size, then the shadow work deck really works for it. Self-worth, that's so interesting. Courage. Oh my God, the courage to rest. I like that. So yeah, so that has been one thing I've been doing in my practice quite a bit. But I think I'm definitely going to add to my list of available readings. And I'm also going to probably add like some sort of reading where like the client kind of goes through and like picks a certain amount of cards from that deck. I don't know. It's exciting. It's rejuvenating. I also bought the other one as well. I don't have that with me though right now. That's upstairs. So I'll leave a link in the description box below to them. So that's one kind of exciting thing that's been happening, though I guess because I used it in like 2 to 3 different ways. Maybe it's 2 to 3 things. I don't know. So that being said, on the subject of shadow work, this is a new deck that I purchased. This is Tarot Landscapes. And I know she's been around on the YouTube a while, but I had spoken to Shanna D one time, like in the comment section. Hello, Shanna, if you're watching this, who told me that like this is a great little shadow work deck. And I was like, ooh, tell me more. I'm kind of intrigued. And she said that essentially because the characters are alone for the most part in this, like we have a lot of animals and they're mostly featured by themselves. To her, it really kind of felt like desolate and like, you know, it was the lonely space. I think it's actually, her words were like, it was the lonely space of my mind. And I knew I had to buy this. Like, I have Naturescapes. We kind of get along, but I was like, I feel like Tarot Landscapes is different, so I need to get it. And so I've been using this one a lot for shadow work, but I have been pairing it with, and y'all seen this one on here at my channel because you know I love it. I think it's bestie, which is going to be Under the Oak Tarot. And let me go ahead and fix these up. Get these straight on the screen. Well, I don't know why all of a sudden I started caring. I was like lopsided for half the video, but guys, I'm not the best YouTuber in terms of aesthetics, but I try my best. Okay. I got a little bit of a glare, but that's okay. All right, so Under the Oak Tarot paired with Tarot Landscapes. I just kind of want to show you for just a quick second how good they look together, because I think that these jewel tones really make them pop. There seems to be a bit of a communication, for me at least, in terms of like this color palette, and this color palette is so juicy to me. I am a moody color palette girl. You're probably going to see that in a lot of my decks. The moodier the color palette, the better. So I love aesthetically how these two things look together, but in terms of shadow work, this is another pair that has been kicking my ass. So I've been using it with the spread deck, but I haven't only used it with the spread deck. Like, sometimes I just use these two pairs together. And the Under the Oak Tarot, because it's like this kind of fantasy land, is like my fantasy of what I'm going through. And then the Tarot Landscapes is like the actuality. And some of these pairs have bit my ass. I don't know why I said that. That was such a weird phrase to say. I don't even think that was a Southern idiom. Whatever. Anyway, and so, like, look at this. Like, fantasy self, like, I personally think that I'm facing this Seven of Wands and I'm being like all strong and trying to fight this little creature, but like I'm still pushing through, but like in actuality it's a fucking tower moment. And like that's how it is. So this is just how it works. You know, ideally I would like to think that I'm offering people help, but in actuality I'm just pushing straight through them and being too forceful and kind of ambitious. Kind of like a Knight of Wands would be, like a little bit fiery with my help. Maybe they don't want that help. You know, I think I'm being helpful, but they might not even want it. They actually might be the, what is this? Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. Is that a leopard? Okay, my animal identification is bad. They might be the animal that's running away. Who knows? It's just, it's so good. Oh, I feel like this was for me. Fantasy self, or what I think versus like what it actually is. Five of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles. All right, I'll take it. But anyway, this is a pair that you'll see me gush about for a while. I love this pair. Actually, as a matter of fact, this might be a bonded pair. I kind of finally figured out what to do with Under the Oak. I've kind of been using it here or there, but this is where it shines with this beautiful bestie of Tarot Landscapes. So those are those. I'll go ahead and move those off. All right, so what else have I been using? Let me see what I want to show you guys. I'll show this one quickly because I know that it gets a lot of airtime on the YouTube. But when I did the spread with my friend with the inner child cards as well as the spread deck, I also went ahead and brought along the Gentle Tarot. And look out, y'all, I know she's not seasonally right because this is not a fall deck. I don't care. I love this deck. We fall. I need this deck right now. When I'm going through like this heavy shadow work, I need this deck so much to remind me that life is okay, and that even if I'm tired and even if I'm stressed and even if I'm working through so many deep emotional things in my life, that I have a soft, comforting deck that's a hug to come home to. And some of the phrases that were written in the guidebook for this made my friend absolutely just cry. And so I think that I just want to give another little shout out to this deck because I know that the Oracle deck is funding on Kickstarter right now. I just backed that one. And like, it's a good client deck reader. So just here to share that with the world. I know y'all have seen it before, so that's the Gentle Tarot, and definitely one that I never regret purchasing. Okay, so what's next? So, in the spirit of Halloween, I finally decided that I was going to finish this bad boy. So, this is the guidebook for the Tarot of Vampyres, and I have like my own little notebook that I've created. And last year, I went through and I annotated the guidebook, and I made all of these notes for the minors for myself, putting essentially the cards in their imagery and my own words. Sorry that you're getting cut off, y'all. I can't back up my camera any further. So I did that for the minors, and so I decided that this year, I don't know why I decided so late. I guess C note, it's still hot as hell here, and it just got cold. I decided that I was going to go through and I was going to do the majors. So we're not that far in it. We're only on the Empress, but do you realize, like, I want to know if anyone's thought about this or what your ideas are on this. Like, genuinely, I want to have a conversation. I want to have a tarot podcast about this. So the guidebook had mentioned for Tarot of Vampyres, and look, I'm being a bad YouTuber. It's this deck. And I'll show the cards in a little bit with that the Empress is the child of the Magician and the Priestess. And I think that's so cool to think about, right? Because like the Magician essentially has like the power to create, just like the Empress, but the Priestess has like the kind of receptive feminine power. And I have never in my life thought of the Empress as the child of those two. So anyway, I would love your thoughts. I am learning so much once again from going through this guidebook. And even though the cards aren't necessarily my jam all the time, man, the guidebook is always super juicy. So this is my copy of Tarot of Vampyres. I have edged it in red, like many people on TarotTube have. And I do feel like the red makes it absolutely pop. So I'll just show a few cards with this one because I know it gets a lot of love around Halloween season, but there's a reason it gets a lot of love. Like, I mean, this is like perfect spooky vibes. I have a friend of mine that is going to host a costume party. See above mentioned friend that I mentioned earlier. And she's assigning people costumes. And I'm usually not happy about that. Like, I have this thing about me where if someone tells me what to wear, I get angry and then I just won't do it. Like, even if I have it. But you know, she's bestie, so she can do that. But she assigned me tarot reader, and she specifically asked me, can you please bring along Tarot of Vampyres to the Halloween party? So this bad boy and I gotta finish the guidebook because I can read reasonably well with these cards, but because they have a touch of thoth influence and a touch of like esoteric astrological influence, I really want to make sure that I am giving this deck the chance to shine, because I think I am going to be pulling back to back to back to back tarot readings at the Halloween party. And yes, ma'am, indeed, I'm here for it. So I'm going to be dressed like a little traditional. Oh, y'all got a cat. All right, I'm not going to edit that out. That's my cat, Rue, and he's a bit of a party boy. So, of course, he has to be involved in the filming because, like, he's got to see what's going on. So, anyway, I'm going to be dressed like a tarot reader, whatever that means. I don't know what the fuck that means. We all look like tarot readers. But with, like, maybe, like, with a nice, like, cloak and, like, some heavy makeup. I'm thinking, like, a purple lipstick or something like that. And I'm going to be reading with this bad boy. So, it'll be perfect for spooky season. I have also been kind of peripherally touching these. These are the Conjure Cards. I went to an event hosted by a local metaphysical shop, and I'll leave a link in the description box below to them because I really so much appreciate what they do to bring the community together. So they host like market events, which are like they center around like the solstices and the equinoxes. And so I worked the Maybon market as a tarot reader, and as soon as I got done with my last reading, it was like almost closing time, and I saw that there was someone in a booth across the way from me that had this deck, and I was like, oh, I need it, because I've always been interested in playing card divination. I don't know necessarily if this is my style of divination, but it intrigues me on a very intellectual level. So these cards are created by someone who grew up studying playing card divination in Appalachia, and I think that that is so cool that there is a deck. Like my heart is happy from like a history perspective, like a cultural perspective, that someone created something that represents their region so closely. So I love it. Like, even if it's one that I'm just kind of like dipping in and out and I'm really kind of having more like fun style of play, I'm enjoying it. And I think that this is going to help me open up my eyes to perhaps Danny Mystic's Playing Card Divination series, which is on her like private version of her YouTube channel. We basically have like very similar divination styles with playing cards. And so I want to like tip back over there and learn what I can from her channel and from her and see if it's like vastly different from this. So if you've done like Danny's playing card divination kind of course that she has, like where she walks you through the cards, and you have this deck, I would really, really love to know how, like if they're similar, if they're different. I don't know enough about playing card divination to give an answer to that, so I'm just interested to see. So anyway, this was the Conjure Cards. And I feel like that's so true to so many of us on YouTube, right? Like, we made money through reading, so then we bought another deck. Whatever. It's all good. I'm buying my tools for my trade. Okay, so what else? Let's see. I'm gonna grab this one. This is not a spooky season deck, but like I said, the mood has been moody. So we love a moody palette here. Moody palettes bring me joy. This deck is starting to bow. Okay, so this is my Jupiter King. This was by Tarot Collectibles. I do think that this was like a limited edition run, and I don't think that they're gonna print anymore, so don't kill me. I'm sorry. But you might be able to get some, like for some people that got it in and they're not interested in it. But it is a reprint of the Jupiter King Tarot, and this one is the remastered 1989 edition. And I have been obsessed with using this for clients. They really appreciate like these bright like pops of color. And like once again, it's not really fall here until like we get to like December. Like we have no fall. We just have like 2 weeks of winter in December, and that's it. And so I think that some of these kind of warmer tones still really carry a lot of weight where I live. And it's just like such a fun, nice, approachable alternative to the RWS. These bright colors make me happy indeed. So I just wanted to show this one off. She is a proud new addition to my collection, and I will leave a link in the description box below to her if you want to see a full walkthrough, because I did do a 4K walkthrough with her. I love this card so much. Let me go ahead and show y'all the moon card though, because like I'm not gonna lie, a good moon is why I bought this deck. I love the Temperance, because Temperance is my favorite card. Okay, I'm looking for the moon. I love the strength. The strength reminds me a lot of the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot, which I don't own, but when I see the strength card, I want it. Like, I feel like it's very similar to that. We have a beautiful Hermit. Okay, I'm still looking for my moon. Guys, did I show the moon already? God, that would be so true to me. I like that the sun has two different people. I think that's kind of cool. Guys, I already showed the moon, didn't I? Oh, no, shit. Okay, right here. Moon. Look at that. Like, this is so vibey. This is so gorgeous. Like, you can't... Normally, when I see the moon, I'm like, okay, great. Because it probably means that I'm going to cry, like, extensively for a little while. But, because I got some shit coming up. But this moon, like, I could tattoo this portrait on me. This is the most beautiful moon I've ever seen. Queen of Pentacles, beautiful. Ace of Pentacles, beautiful. Okay, I thought I was done showing you the deck, but I'm not. Judgment, my favorite fucking Judgment of all time. And Judgment is my second favorite major, so I'll leave it there. Empress might be my second favorite major too. I think it would be Temperance, Judgment, Empress. Oh, cool. And then the Fool's in a different direction, so what a good way to start. So that is Jupiter King. All right, what do I have left? Let's see what I got. All right, so to carry on like the weird and kind of wonky energy that is October in its beautiful glory, we have a NOLA Tarot Cats, which, I mean, I feel like anything with New Orleans is Halloween. Like, that's just speaking from as someone who grew up like probably about like an hour and a half away from there. So that being said, I very, very, very much love a kind of spooky deck with like that's very atmospheric. So even though like it doesn't try to be spooky, you can kind of see with like this live oak limb like stretching in the back here. I can imagine like the Spanish moss just climbing down over the limb, and it looks spooky to me. Okay, bam, thank you. Sometimes like we need another card to prove our point. I love when I'm trying to make a point on YouTube and the card I need to pop up shows up. So love this, great depth card. The Five of Pentacles, like look at this beautiful little cat. I bought this in June, and I did like it in June because I like the bright colors, But sometimes I will grab tarot decks from my armoire without realizing why I'm attracted to them. And now as I'm sitting here making this video, it's like, ooh, this is definitely kind of Halloween-y. It's a little bit weird. It's a little bit strange. It's a little bit, you know, the creepy crawlies that crawl in the dark. Like, look at that cat. I would not want to see that in real life. This is terrifying. This is a very desolate Six of Swords. Like, ouch, that's a gut punch. But this looks like the start to the Stephen King show on Netflix. This is old. Like, it came out like several years ago, called The Mist. Very much is reminding me of that. So I love it. This is my favorite tower card of all time because it's like this religious institution or this mausoleum that is essentially breaking down. And I love the concept of like the body being like trapped into the mausoleum, and then the mausoleum falls because like your ego has been like experiencing ego dissolution in the tower. And I could just go on and like, look at those colors. Like, this is fucking art. So this party boy who made an appearance earlier, he looks like this guy, but my party boy has a green eye and a blue eye, just in case you wanted to know. So anyway, yes, NOLA Tarot Cats, like, what the fuck, guys? This is a Halloween deck, and I will die on that. Also, delicious cardstock. I never, ever, ever am able to riffle shuffle my decks because I have super small hands, and that one, oh, gorgeous. I think it's my favorite cardstock in my collection, other than probably the Linen Aztec Tarot, but that's a side note. Okay, what else? You can tell I've been getting excited. So let me pull another book and kind of deck pair. Okay, guys, so I have been reading Conjuring Dirt. I saw this on, was it Racine's channel? It's Almoon's channel. I don't know what video she was talking about this in, but I just thought it was really interesting. So while I don't consider myself to be a witch, nor do I like participate in workings, though I think it's cool, like I really do. It's just not something that I personally do. And this book focuses quite a bit on it. I am incredibly interested in reading about different perspectives and learning about just dirt in general. So I'm going to go to the table of contents. So essentially she splits it up between purposeful dirt, crossword dirt, and then also graveyard dirt. And like in here, she gives a lot of information about actually how to use the dirt. So like, for example, this is the purposeful dirt section, which is dirt that you purposefully collect. So she talks about the different types of workings you could do with dirt from a library, dirt from a doctor's office, dirt from 4 banks, dirt from 4 churches, dirt from 4 corners of a crossroad, dirt from like 4 jails. And I just think that that is so cool and so interesting. Because like I said, while it's not something I participate in, I find this kind of stuff fascinating. Like, look, get out of jail oil with dirt to release someone from jail dirt. I just feel like if this is like a practice that you regularly participate in, I think that this book is worth getting for just a different experience of how to use something that is incredibly mundane in a very magical way. And that is something that is like very true to my spiritual practice, is using the mundane in a magical way. So that being said, it's cool. So while I have been reading that book, every night when I go to sit down, I read like about 10 pages because it is just so interesting to me. I have been pulling from my beautiful, sassy, bitchy grandma, and that is Barbara Walker. I am positive that I probably lost a subscriber somewhere from referring to this deck as a bitchy grandma, but c'est la vie. She is what she is. And look, she had Tower, so like she knows who she is. She's a hot mess in all of the good ways. So I've been pulling with Barbara Walker, and I've also been pulling with Fallen Angel, or these cards upside down. Here we go, the Fallen Angel's Oracle. And like, they might not aesthetically look phenomenal together. However, I will say that they read like a gut punch. Why did I choose to pair this with the Dirt book? Well, I'll be honest, I don't know. I probably could have pulled the Mushroom Tarot for it, but like, I feel like using like dirt and magical work seems incredibly uplifting and kind of gritty, for a lack of better words, and I felt like these two decks really match with that. So when I sit down to read from the book, I will pull cards from both of these two decks just to see, like, okay, you know, what can I learn from this book? What is it here to teach me? What is this experience made for? And I actually did pull this card, which was inspiration, when I read the other night. So I thought it was cool. And so it gives me an opportunity to kind of focus what I'm going to get from the book. And I find that to be, in general, a really fulfilling experience. So I don't really have another reason of why I use this with that book other than the fact that I like a nice little spooky season deck. We've already established I love a moody deck. I'm a moody girl. And so that's it. So that's another thing that I have been up to. Let's go ahead and move these over. Now with Barbara Walker, I do end up mixing in reversals quite a bit with her, because I find that with Barbara Walker, and I'm just gonna sort these cards while I talk. With Barbara Walker, the guide words tend to be so incredibly negative that it actually benefits me to have some reversals mixed in, so that way I'm not just seeing the content from a very negative lens, because like failure, Seven of Pentacles, like ouch guys, like that hurts. So sometimes the reversals help in regards to that. So, okay. I have a lot of decks around me. Is that the last one, or do I have one more? Let's see. All right, I have my Golden Tarot of the Tzar, which reminds me, it is definitely season for me to bring out the tarot that has this gold kind of foiling on it. So I probably need to grab Klimt. I think Klimt is going to be one of the decks I pull from October, so I'm going to go grab that after I'm finished with this. Sorry for that side note. It is late where I'm from, and I've been very busy grading. So anyway, so I very much enjoy this deck. I bought this deck in New Orleans last year for my anniversary, and so I have a deeply kind of nostalgic experience with it and a lot of like deeply nostalgic memories. I'll leave a link in the description box below for y'all to a video kind of where I talk about the decks that I picked up, like that are associated with nostalgic memories. And yeah, anyway, so I think that this deck always reminds me of that little anniversary trip that I took with my husband, but I also love these colors. These colors feel so right for this time of year. And so I end up pulling this out around like October towards like November is where I feel like it's going to really slot in. This bitch is going to shine in November. Like if this is not Thanksgiving in a deck and like Christmas in a deck, I don't know what is. But I especially love these majors that are these like full gorgeous images. I love when I read in candlelight with these decks. I'm just deeply appreciative of this deck and what it offers my practice. So that would be Tarot of the Tzar. So I think that's it. So pretty short and sweet. I kept this under, did I keep it under 20? Yeah, I did. I kept it under 35 minutes, or I have to like move my neck like a kind of like a plesiosaur dinosaur to go see. Plesiosaurs aren't even dinosaurs, they're reptiles, but whatever. I'm keeping that in. So I hope that all of you are enjoying like the coziness. Like if the weather has started to change where you're from and it's getting cozy, I hope you're loving that. If you are from the Southern Hemisphere and it's starting to get warm, know that I'm deeply jealous of you and I would do anything for another summer. And anyway, I just wanted to take the time to thank y'all so much for what y'all do for my channel, and I really appreciate being here because of y'all. So, hope y'all have a beautiful day, and I will see y'all next time.